Okay, hello amateur radio enthusiasts. Another exciting adventure in amateur radio stuff. Hey, we're not going to do DigiPi stuff today. See the other videos for that. There's kind of a combo topic today. We're going to talk about the International Space Station, which you can see is rising over the United States right now. And we're also going to talk about slow scan television because the ISS usually rotates through modes. It'll be a digital or it'll be a voice repeater for a couple of months and maybe an APRS digipeater for a couple of months. And then every now and then they'll have a special event that is a slow scan television broadcast. And they're going to do this for the next few days. I don't have the exact dates here, but it is rising right now. And if you do have a Raspberry Pi or a Linux desktop, which is what I have here, they're functionally equivalent. I'm going to show you what software you can use to download or decode slow scan television. So that's the ISS rising, and I am using a ubiquitous RTL-SDR dongle, and I have some coax here that's run up to the antenna on my roof, which, as you can see, is a really dirt cheap roll-up J-pole antenna. I know, I call it roll-up J-pole. If you call it an off-center fed dipole folded in half, it sounds much more technical. But that's antenna is all you really need, is all you need to decode stuff coming from space, especially if it's kind of at an oblique angle. If it's directly overhead, it might hit the null point. So the ISS is rising. So I just plugged that RTL SDR dongle into my PC, and I need software to drive that. The software you want is called GQRX, Golf Quebec Romeo X-Ray. So I'm just going to fire that up here. And we wait. GQRX. Now this is it up at the top here, and there's a little play button. I'm going to press play. And I'm going to turn the volume way down because that's too loud. And I want you to tune for the ISS. I want you to go to frequency 145,800. In fact, I want you to go 145,801 because the ISS is approaching, so there's some Doppler shift we need to account for. So the frequency is going to be a little bit high, and I'm going to use the mouse wheel to scroll in on their signal here. One ISS voice, that's 14580. I'm going to go up a little bit, and I see some signal there. And I'm going to kind of center that signal. The signal is, we can change the width here with this gray area. And I'm going to make that width about 22K to capture the signal. And that'll work right in there. And it looks like they just finished a slow scan TV event. That'll give us enough time to fire up the next bit of software that we need, and that is QSSTV. That's a Quebec Sierra Sierra Tango Victor, QSSTV. I'm going to fire that up. This one takes a bit to load. I don't see any signal on GQRX just yet, so something should load here pretty soon. Now, we just fired up QSSTV, and there's another thing called PAVU control that might help you route the audio around. So GQRX is transmitting audio. This is kind of complicated. And then on the recording tab, QSSTV is monitoring the source of my speakers, which you can hear if I this horrible sound. And QSSTV can basically hear what GQRX is playing over my speaker. So I'm using PAVU control to do all of this audio routing stuff. And we know it's working because we see stuff in the waterfall on QSSTV. This the green line here and the blue waterfall. Now it's in the receive tab is open, so when there is an ISS thing happening, we'll see it light up. Let's see if the audio is working here. Yeah, there's some static. That's what we're hearing and seeing. All right, hopefully the ISS comes online here, or this is going to be a really boring video. I do have a spur right here. I don't know what that is. So much terrestrial noise, but it's not really that high above the noise floor, so I don't think it'll mess up my image too bad. It's kind of intermittent. Maybe someone can tell me what this little spur is. Usually they're like a network cable will look like this thing over here, but this one kind of comes and goes. I don't know. Let's see where the ISS is. So ISS is approaching overhead. Let me see if I can scroll a little tighter here. Yep, it's off the coast of Oregon right now, and of course I'm in Sacramento. Oh, we just got an image. And I'm going to turn it on so you can hear it. So you can it's probably pretty loud. So on the left side, you can see QSST decoding. What we're seeing on the waterfall in QSST is really three things here. I see these three lines. I don't know if you can see my mouse moving around here, but there's reference lines here, 1, 2, 3, and then you'll see three marks for the color and chroma signals that are coming through. And then of course here on the main pane of QSSTV, we can see the image downloading. And over on, I'm going to zoom this in on GQRX, you notice that my red line isn't directly over the center of the signal. So I can use the mouse wheel and scroll it a little bit. You see I'm changing the frequency a little bit, and I'm going to track that as the ISS flies over us, and I'm going to keep adjusting for Doppler shift. So I'm going to keep moving that line down, so to speak, and make sure this gray area is really capturing all of the signal in the waterfall. Usually I open it up a little bit. Like I said, the filter width right now is to 20K. So that's a full FM signal. That's coming in really strong. This will be a good image. So what is this thing? Amateur radio on the ISS, Mir, and shuttle. So sort of, I guess it's a commemoration of the Mir space station and the shuttle program. And of course, it's written in Russia as well. The ISS. I'm going to adjust the frequency a little more because of Doppler effect. It's cruising by. It's going to start going away here in a minute, and it's going to be below frequency. So the ISS has two call signs. It's NA1SS and RS0SS. NA1SS, yeah, is the American call sign, and RS0ISS is the Russian call sign. And you'll see both used interchangeably. They're both the same radio that's attached to the antenna on the Columbus module. I think that's a Kenwood radio. I think so. Anyways, the voice frequency is 145,800. Well, it changes depending on how fast it's moving. And it looks like it just ended. All right, I'm going to turn the audio off here so you don't hear that static. So RS0ISS and NA1SS, we just received this image from the International Space Station. They're just, well, it's currently over California using the RTL-SDR dongle. And GQRX, that's listening to that dongle, drives that hardware. And we use QSSTV to listen to the output of GQRX. To decode an image here that came from the space station. So anyways, I think that's pretty cool. We got multiple technologies kind of working all together, and we got to use a new mode that we haven't talked about on the KM6LYW radio channel, and that's slow scan television. Of course, a lot of people use that on HF. If you're going to get into QSST or slow scan television, check out, and you have an HF radio, check out 14.230. That's the calling frequency for slow scan television, and you can use your HF radio and tell QSS-TV to listen to your HF radio, and you'll decode and send images. So when you want to transmit, you can use this canvas to create an image and send it as well. It also has a gallery. You can see some of the other pictures that I took when I kind of was preparing for this video. So this is another picture that came down from the ISS not too long ago. Not the same one, is it? No, it's a different one. Same bunch of people here, and it's actually coming in pretty clear today. A lot of times you'll see distortion, like you see up here, and there'll be some fade. That's just a thing. But yeah, this last image we got was pretty good. There's just a couple of lines here that didn't work out. All right, so there you go. We received an image from space. How cool is that? And just using an RTL-SDR dongle that costs maybe $20, and all open source software that's all available on Linux, which means it's available on the Raspberry Pi. So let me know how it goes in the comments. Of course, like and subscribe to this channel, and if you really want to help out the channel, check out patreon.com/KM6LYW. There's a new image coming in already. And to support the channel financially, that helps with all these incidental things. In fact, it helps buy RTL-SDR so I can figure them out so you don't have to. And it also gives you access to early release software that maybe shouldn't be released yet. It'll give you access to that. So check out my other videos on the DigiPi if you want to have a Raspberry Pi that really works all kinds of modes, Digipeater, digital modes. It's a real cheap solution to do that, and you get early access developer releases to those software images for the DigiPi if you're a patron of patreon.com/KM6LYW. And I'm kind of stalling for time here, as I can see there is another image coming in. We got some distortion up here. This will be like a This is like an encore presentation here of this image. I'm gonna slow this frequency down just a little bit, and yeah, it looks like the gray area is covering that symbol, and I'm off that lousy spur that's way over here. I wish I could figure out what that guy was. And yeah, we're seeing the rest of the image come down. You'll notice the mode here is receiving PD120. It's kind of an unusual SSTV mode, PD120, but it's always used by the space station for some reason. I'm not sure why. Normally, when you transmit something, you would use like Scotty 1 or Scotty 2. Those are really the most popular slow scan television modes. But the space station always uses PD120. You don't have to worry about it because QSS TV automatically detects the mode. Yeah, that signal is really strong. You can see it's really got a dark background here on the slow scan television waterfall. So yeah, this one's coming in good too. All right, well, I know I already did my sign off message, but I wanted to make sure you guys caught the end of this next image coming in, which is getting a little sketchy because the ISS is currently setting here. And yeah, all of this was received through the RTL-SDR dongle, and actually this is the antenna on my roof. I took a picture of that too, just a kind of an N9 tax roll-up J-pole, and we're receiving images from space, and they look, let me get the, all right, and they look like that. KM6LYW radio, thanks a lot, I'm clear.